All right, hello everybody. Peter here. Look, as far as I can tell, and I think you'll all agree, there are a great number of ways to create art, right? And even if we narrow it way down to just visual art, there's still a great number of ways to just do visual art. And me personally, I have for most of my life, most of the time I've spent creating visual art, I have very much confined myself to the type of visual art making where I just hold a pen in my hand and draw lines on a piece of paper. And I've been very happy with it, very content to lose myself in that and to really, uh, I mean, now that I think about it, I don't think I've really even been pushing the envelope with that as much as I could have been because, I really just do a lot of abstract stuff that doesn't really look like too much stuff, but that's okay. I'm not trying to make the point that we all should do as much crazy stuff as possible. I'm just saying there's a lot of possibilities out there, and today, uh, I'm mixing it up a tiny bit. It feels a lot different to be doing oil painting, right? But it's like actually not that different than it could be. I'm still creating like flat 2D images on a flat 2D plane, just like I was when I was doing drawing. But it could be even weirder, It could be I could be doing sculpting or something, and that would be even more different. But even though it's not more different, it feels very different. Like for example, when I'm doing my ink drawing, I can never do any of the mushing and melding and smushing. There's another word I'm looking for here. The what's it called when the paint smushes like one color goes in with another color and they become friends, and then there's another color. It's blending is the color I'm thinking of. There's no blending, especially because I just use usually white and black, right? Black ink on white paper. This is so different. Plus, usually if I've drawn on one area and I've finished that area, I usually don't really go back and do anything else on it. Like if I've, drawn one thing there, it's just done. Here with the oil painting, I can totally change what's on one spot of the painting. Like if I wanted to just grab what's this stuff I'm using here? It's like linseed oil or something. I could just get a really a paper towel really soggy with linseed oil and just wipe off a whole section of the canvas. Actually, I'm not using canvas here today. I'm using MDF, and then I prime it. People were very, very insistent the last time I started doing this that I prime it beforehand. I'm using just some sort of latex interior house paint to prime it. I hope that's good enough because I have a big 5-gallon bucket I found somewhere. And so mostly I'm just using that to prime it because I have a lot of it, and sometimes it really feels like it takes a lot of paint to prime it, especially since I'm painting both sides of it, because I don't want to prime just one side of it and then the other side of it goes unprimed and it feels lonely, or it starts warping in one direction or something because there's only paint on one side of the board. Other than that, MDF seems to work well to paint on. I'm happy with it because it's light, thin, strong, not a lot of texture. I don't know, something about it seems to work well for me. And I like it more than the canvas for some reason. I'm not sure what that reason is. Classically, I guess a lot of people paint on canvas. I guess the nice thing about canvas is that it does have texture, so it picks up, it kind of hangs on to the paint, right? It picks it up off of your paintbrush. And also it's lighter, so the only wood you have is in the frame of the canvas instead of solid through and through. But there's just something I like about this. I don't know. Maybe when canvas paintings were invented, they didn't have MDF board. What does MDF stand for? Medium density fiber or something? Wait. I can type it in. MDF. Medium density fiberboard. I was close. Made by breaking down hardwood or softwood residuals. often in a defibrator. Okay, there you go. Anyways, all I want to say is I am being very far from being comfortable with oil paints, but I am very close to having a good time with oil paints. Now, I know it sounds kind of like a cop-out to say it's more about the journey than the destination, right? I'm not very, like not 100% happy with how the painting turns out. In fact, this happens to me a lot with the paintings in that I feel like I shoot past several points in the paintings where I wish I had stopped, but also I want to keep going because I'm enjoying myself, and I think, but maybe if I can keep going, I'll find some other spot that's better to stop that I'll like more. And this is more of a problem with me for the painting because, like I said, I can keep adding layers, keep painting on top. It's not as difficult for me with the drawings to stop because eventually the paper just fills up, or I can't add any more details or something, right? And I can't keep on adding layers with, ink on paper. It's just a different set of struggles that I'm not as used to, figuring out in my head. I'm not sure, but it's a good time, and it's cool. I'd recommend it. Oil paints can get kind of expensive, but I bought a few tubes a few years ago, and I've done a few of these big paintings. They've lasted me a while. I am kind of bad at wasting them because I squirt out big piles of them onto my palette, and then I don't use up the whole pile, so I should probably get better at being more economical about my oil paint usage, but it's all a learning process, and as long as you're not too hard on yourself, I think you can have a good time with it. It's no big deal. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Take it easy, okay? We'll have more videos coming up soon, so hit the subscribe button if you want to see some. All right, bye. Love y'all. All right, okay. All right. Also, it's very difficult to record this. I don't mean to sound like I'm whining, but it's very difficult to record this in a way that wouldn't have like light glaring across like the wet paint and stuff like this. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was like light shining on it weird, and I don't know, I felt like I had to become like a professional lighting technician just to get good camera angles where it wasn't a glare. Anyways, okay, bye. All right.